Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
It is 5:07 and it's Friday here, the 19th day of September. Some might call it Friday. Some, like Patrice, would refer to this as...
Friday.
Sure,
Happy
Friday. Why not?
Everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Others, many... in the Commonwealth of the Old Dominion that we like to call Virginia, we'll call this Early Voting Day or Early Voting Yay.
I'll take a yay, yes.
But today's the first day for you to get your votes heard for all the statewide races. And to that end, you might notice a certain trend in today's guest lineup. At 6:35, the Republican nominee for Lieutenant Governor, John Reed, will join us. 7:05, Denise Rucker-Krepp, D.C. attorney and anti-crime advocate, about yesterday's hearings on Capitol Hill. 7:35, Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares. 8:05, the co-chair of the Republican National Committee, Casey Crosby. 8:15, Corey and Ganamort, friend of this program, who will be out there for a rally to sort of counter-protest against Senator Mark Warner, who's coming to town to rally for Abigail Spanberger. And then at 8:35, Abigail Spanberger's opponent, Virginia Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears. Let me get this straight. It's early voting day in Virginia. Today's the first day for voters to go to the polls. And this morning on this program, we have the Republican candidate for Attorney General and the current Attorney General, Jason Miyares. We've got the Republican candidate for Lieutenant Governor, John Reed, and we have the Republican candidate for Governor, now the Lieutenant Governor, Winsome Sears.
That's why everybody just needs to keep their channels tuned to WMAL all morning.
There would be never any
or
reason
podcast
to
us
tune
later
away
too.
from this program. I will tell you, I mean, if I were you at 9 o'clock, I would then go and touch grass because, I mean, it's over. There's nothing more to do. I mean, sure, if you like Chris Plant, I guess you can keep listening, but...
Yeah, I mean, Chris brings a different flavor, but we will get you through the morning drive, getting those kids ready for school, packing those lunches. We got you covered.
Chris brings a different flavor. I'm smelling a billboard campaign.
Not in that way. You know, we're just morning guy and gal.
That's right.
Gals
morning guy
here.
and gal on this Friday, early voting.
That's
yay.
right.
Well, it is exciting. And by the way, based on the exit polls and based on all of the analysis of the 2024 presidential election, one of the strengths of Donald Trump's ability to win going away was because of the overflow of early voting from Republicans.
Yes.
Listen, yeah. I am with you. I'm guessing pretty much everybody in this listening audience who would prefer us to have one standalone election day. No early voting, no mail-in voting, no mail-in ballots, no drop-off boxes, none of any of it. All right, I get it. That's not the law right now. I would rather not stand here and scream about the world as if I would wish it to be and pretend it isn't the way it is. If the rules are that there is early voting, then by gummit, if I may say by gummit, this early in the morning, we need to play with those rules. And by the way, we need to exploit those rules in the same way the Democrats exploit those rules. It took Republicans several election cycles to get in on it. But now we are. And it was a huge deal for Youngkin 4 years ago. It was a huge deal for Trump last year. And this can be a huge deal for Republicans in Virginia if Republicans who intend to vote get out and do it now. Get out and vote. There are so many reasons to do this, basically, based on these rules. Number one, it's to preempt the Democrats and their early voting numbers, number one. But number two, the campaigns have gotten this down to such a science that if you have already voted, they check your name off of their outreach protocols. And that means they can save that money. They won't have to waste their time reaching out to you, calling you, emailing, texting, all those things that annoy you, by the way, because they know you've already voted. And then they can spend that money and spend that energy and spend that get out the vote to people who maybe aren't quite as committed as you, who are on the fence, who sure support Winsome Sears, don't like the left, don't like Democrats, don't like Abigail Spanberger, but maybe they're just not, really motivated enough to get out and vote. And those campaigns can now use those resources on those people instead of wasting them on you. So seriously, this is the day where you want to go out and get that early vote going. And we have seen scientifically that it has helped Republicans in the past.
It's early voting. I've not been opposed to early voting. I do see, for all the reasons you listed, I think it makes brilliant sense from a strategic standpoint, from a fiscal responsibility of money raised standpoint, that you're actually using the dollars not just to chase votes you're going to get, but to chase votes that may be more borderline. And as a voter who gets sick and tired of the calls and the text messages, I did my duty. I did it early, and it gives you an opportunity to then go out and also, help out or remind your neighbors, your friends, your small group ladies, your golf buddies. Hey guys, did you early vote? Yeah, I know you don't like it, but go do it, because we got to beat whatever the other person, the other candidate is. And so, I definitely think it's a good thing. And it's great to see that here in Virginia, there's a nice long stretch. Early voting starts today and goes through Saturday, November 1st. So you have plenty of time. And I know we will be reminding folks about that November 1st deadline in the days leading up to it.
Anyone who does want to vote today, and by the way, the in-person voting window in Virginia is 6 weeks. That means between now and November 1st. Mm-hmm. Now and November 1st. That's what by the way, and if you are going to go out, bring an ID. You have to have a valid ID with you when you vote in Virginia.
Good.
That said,
can we get that in Maryland, Larry?
That would be a lovely thing. If you lack an ID, you can still cast a ballot. It's called a provisional ballot. Those ballots will be cast provisionally, and then later they will be verified. There will be a follow-up. Hopefully, provisional ballots won't be needed, though. And also, hopefully, if you're driving to the polling place to go and vote, you should have a driver's license because you're driving a car. So stop that.
Well, there's that.
Yeah,
unless you're
exactly.
Ubering there, but, still.
Yeah. But if you're Ubering, of course, you have a smartphone, which means that you got an account from a smartphone digital company, and that means that you had to have some sort of identification. Or it also means you have a credit card, and to have a credit card, you probably had to have an identification. I guess you could be walking to the polling place for early voting, or you could be taking the bus, I suppose. But
and you just do all cash transactions.
While we're on the topic, if you want to live in our society, how about go get an ID? Everybody, go get an ID.
It's
just
not
in
a
general,
racist idea.
Not necessarily just for voting today. Just get an ID. Don't slip through the cracks in society, and actually fully participate as an American and a human being. All right, so bring your ID, go and vote. If you don't have an ID, you can do the provisional ballot, and this is the beginning of the 6-week window to make sure that you get those ballots in. Also, by the way, later, and not coming up right next, but or is it coming up next? Hold on, maybe I should be. Well, okay, yes, coming up next. Yeah, we're still working on the rundown. I thought we'd do it later. Yeah, coming up next, because it's early voting day, we've got a couple of updates on Abigail Spanberger's travails. First, she released the cringiest social media video trying to get people to go out and vote. And
was she dancing?
No, she's talking to supporters on a phone, theoretically. Remember that time when Kamala pretended like she was talking to Barack Obama on the phone for a video?
And it was all staged.
Yeah, it was like, exactly. It was on a Facebook app or something, or the calculator. It's like that. It's so cringe. It's so bad. So we love it, and we're going to show it to you. But also, more seriously, her campaign, there are staffers, the people who run her campaign, who have had to provide depositions in a defamation lawsuit because they lied and slandered, apparently, a Republican candidate, a war veteran, and he is suing them for defamation. And some of the things that have been revealed in these videos, like one of the top campaign aides asked, is it okay to lie in a campaign about your opponent? And he goes, well, hey, sure, why not? Just wait. It's stunning. These are the people who are on Team Spanberger. These are the people who she will bring to the State House. 5:15 WMAL.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
Okay, so Abigail Spanberger's campaign put out a social media post. She's sitting in the backseat of a car. So first of all, I love this move. It's a video of Abigail Spanberger being chauffeured around.
Oh, goodness.
Which, yeah, exactly. I mean, these tone-deaf people. She's so busy. She has to
Was Morgan Freeman the driver?
Right.
I had to get that in. I mean,
I can teach you how to read, Hoke. Now, this was so, and the elitism in this thing. First of all, she's in the backseat of a car being chauffeured around. All right, number one. Number two, she's ostensibly doing a video Zoom call with campaign staffers and volunteers to thank them for all their work because early voting starts today. So, which the message is, I'm way too busy to talk to you people and see you in person, but I'll call you from the back of my chauffeured town car. But then listen to how scripted. Oh, and by the way, at no point at any time in this video do you see the screen on the phone that she's talking to. It feels so staged and so scripted. Listen to her. This is the. Now, you wonder why Abigail Spanberger has stayed in the basement, why she hasn't done campaign appearances, why she hasn't done any interviews, why she hasn't answered any tough questions. This is why. She's such a transcendent political figure. She's an awful campaigner. She is phony. She is scripted. Listen.
Abigail, we're excited to have you with us this evening.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be with you all today, or this evening, as we are getting ready for tomorrow. You know,
By the way, today, this evening, you can see outside the window. It is broad daylight, Patrice.
Yeah.
The sun is blinding. It's shining into the car. She probably had to take off her sunglasses before she did this. Good to talk to you today. This evening.
It's just amazing to think that we are finally at this place where early voting starts. We know that we have knocked record numbers of doors. We know that we have reached voters in every corner of Virginia. And now we actually get to start seeing the results of all that work as we have people who start going to the polls tomorrow. I am so excited, but importantly, I am so grateful. I am grateful for all the work that you all have put into supporting the campaign, your work on behalf of Operation Virginia Victory, and the work that you're doing, not just to help us get elected, which we appreciate, not just to help us be able to serve Virginia, which we're grateful for, but the work that you all have done to help our neighbors, our fellow Virginians, really know that their vote matters.
This is Kamala level. It's so bad.
It does. Like, I zoned out listening to her because it's, she's just saying a lot of nothing. And, this was, if she was using this as an opportunity to win voters over, to demonstrate why she should be the leader of Virginia, she didn't make a case for herself just now, which is a wasted opportunity.
It's just so bad. It's amazing. Fine. She's running that kind of campaign, and she thinks she's got the media on her side. She's got money from outside the state on her side.
Yeah.
That said, now listen, I just want to point out there's timing involved here in the release of all these videos for depositions on this Abigail Spanberger defamation suit. And it seems like, this is a last-minute campaign dirty trick, opposition research. First of all, there's been an effort to try to get these videos, these depositions released by the court for months and months and months and months. It just so happens that a judge finally did approve it right at this time. Okay. So that timing, and this does date back for quite some time, but it's not like somebody filed this lawsuit just to coincide with Election Day. This goes all the way back to several years. Tyler O'Neill over at the Daily Signal has sort of broken this down. She nearly got sued as well. When a person came to sue her, the man who was defamed, she literally turned and ran away from him so she couldn't be served. The case dates back to November 3rd, 2022, when the Democrat Party of Virginia published a press release attacking Yesli Vega. You remember Yesli Vega? She was the Republican. It was a very close race in 2022 between Yesli Vega and Abigail Spanberger. They put out a press release attacking her for spending time with Thomas Special. Now, you remember Thomas Special ran for Senate, I believe, against Mark Warner, retired Army intel officer and candidate for Senate. In the archived version of this press release, it claimed that Special attacked the U.S. Capitol on January 6th and said that he bloodied and beat law enforcement officers. Of course, Mr. Special says that never happened, and that's absolute textbook defamation. You'd say something like that about a man. He sued. The judge allowed the case to proceed into discovery. And the judge found that Speciale had indeed stated a defamation claim against the Democratic Party, and the case moved forward through depositions. That brings us to some of this audio that I want to share with you. Do I have time? And we will, but it's going to have to wait. We'll get to the audio where you hear from the campaign staffers that work for Abigail Spanberger now about what they were willing to do to defame an Army veteran, a combat wounded Army veteran, for the sake of politics. That's who Abigail Spanberger is. We'll get to it coming up later. It's 5:23.
All right, coming up, if you thought this defamation lawsuit featuring Abigail Spanberger is wild, wait till you hear what her staff had to say. Stay with us. It's O'Connor and Company at 5:30.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It's 5:37. It's O'Connor and Company. Very excited, Patrice, that you've dreamed up a sequel to Driving Miss Daisy.
Driving Miss Abby.
Driving Miss Abby. That's great. I hope they do more of these videos of Abigail Spanberger being chauffeured around because she doesn't have time to drive. She didn't have time to meet with people. She's going to do video calls.
She doesn't want to talk to constituents about the issues. Yeah.
Absolutely loaded show today, including the co-chair of the RNC, Casey Crosby, joining us at 8:05. But check this out. It's early voting day. And at 6:35, John Reed running for lieutenant governor. At 7:35, Jason Miyares running for re-election as attorney general. And then at 8:35, Winsome Sears running for governor, our current lieutenant governor, plus a whole lot more. It's Larry O'Connor with Patrice Onwuka. All right, Patrice, let's get on this. These deposition videos that are incredibly enlightening in terms of giving you an insight. So first of all, again, I'm no expert, I'm no lawyer, but being in the business that we're in, we have a good working knowledge of defamation, just in case.
Yeah.
But it sure sounds like they lied about this man. Thomas Speciale was a retired Army veteran, a combat war veteran, if I believe I remember right. He was running as the Republican candidate for U.S. Senate, and the staffers at the Virginia Democratic Party, in trying to boost up their pal, Abigail Spanberger, running in a hotly contested race against Yesli Vega, claimed that Mr. Speciale had participated on January 6th to the level of beating and bloodying police officers. That's a very
that deserves a lawsuit. Yeah.
That is a very specific claim that on the face of it is not true and therefore, defamatory. So here's one of Abigail Spanberger's campaign staffers during the deposition, because it went through discovery. Let's listen to cut 2 with some basic moral questions about the morality of how you run a campaign. Listen.
Do you think it's legal to make up lies about someone and publish them?
Same objection.
Do you think it is legal to make up lies about someone and publish them?
I don't know, because it seems to me like that happens in the world that we live in.
Do you think it's acceptable in politics to make up lies about people and publish them?
I don't know.
Whether it's acceptable or not, you don't know? Whether it's acceptable to make up lies about someone and publish them?
I think that we live in a very unique time in American history.
That is Justin Chermall. That is the campaign press secretary for Abigail Spanberger in 2022. And that's, listen,
that's the Democratic Party, Larry.
Yeah.
Let's
the Abigail
be real
Spanberger
here.
campaign. Yeah.
That's the Abigail Spanberger campaign. These Democrats, they say that because it's a unique time, that green lights any type of illegal, wrong, immoral behavior. So whether it's torching your Tesla or it is, lying on a veteran who's running for office, they will do every and anything because they feel like they're justified so they can hold power. It's disgusting.
Here's a little more. The press secretary for the Democrat Party of Virginia at the time, Gianni Sneedle. Is that a real name, or is it Sneidel? That's even better. This is cut 3.
Okay. So who, just to go straight to the point here, who approved the the article that we're here to discuss, the Democrat Party of Virginia article on the January 6th insurrectionists.
It would be the Abigail Spanberger campaign.
The Spanberger campaign?
There you go. You got that. So now the finger pointing begins. Hey, we didn't do it. It was approved by the Spanberger campaign. So these are the people who would say and do anything because, as you said, well, we live in extraordinary times. But I want to go back to the basic morality of the question. This isn't even about did you do this, did you lie, did you say that. The question is, in theory, you work for the campaign. Do you think that it is immoral to make up a lie about someone and publish it for the purposes of politics? And he could not answer. His answer was, well, I mean, I'm not sure. It happens all the time. That's
really? That sounds like an omission, an indirect omission. That's what you have done. I mean, again, it speaks to the lack of character, the lack of morality, this lack of moral compass that keeps you from doing wrong. And so, hey, this defamation lawsuit, Mr. Special, is very much. He should be suing the pants off these folks for lying and trying to destroy his reputation. But boy, I mean, I think donors to Abigail Spanberger should be thinking twice now about how much they've been lied to.
Actually, the donors love it. That's what they want. So they're getting their money's worth. No, it's the voters that I want to make sure understand exactly who this is, because they have painted a picture of who this person is, and it is the opposite. It's weird. It's almost as though Abigail Spanberger has created this false persona of who she is with wardrobe choices and hairstyle choices and this narrative that she has memorized and she puts out like a script. And yet behind the scenes, she's actually a very, very nasty politician who will do and say anything about her opponents to get elected. Remind me again, what did Abigail Spanberger do before she entered elected office? What was her job? Do you remember? Oh, yeah, that's right. She was a CIA operative. Huh.
That's right, she was.
Well, okay, I'm seeing a pattern of behavior here, aren't I? It's 5:43 on early voting day here in Virginia.
Later this morning on the Chris Plant Show, Jimmy Kimmel lied about a MAGA supporter killing Charlie Kirk. Now the left is fighting for Kimmel, hammer and sickle. 9 a.m. on WMAL.
Speaking of Abigail Spanberger, Kamala Harris is back in the news because more excerpts from her book, 107 Days, have been released. And boy, oh boy, it's going from bad to worse. The first excerpt, you remember, about 10 days ago, threw Biden and the entire Biden family and the Biden White House under the bus by saying they were all, by telling the truth, that they were all inappropriately covering up his mental and physical decline, that he shouldn't have been allowed. Yeah, they, not she,
right? They, not we.
Yeah. There was no grown-up in the room who told Joe that he shouldn't run again, and that, of course, handicapped her, and all the excuses. By the way, everything in this book is an excuse. The title of the book is an excuse. Well, I only had 107 days. Which, by the way, since no Democrat disputes that, and every Democrat that I've ever heard say, well, she's the finest campaigner we've ever seen. It's a miracle she did as well as she could. Why are they even having a primary in 2028? They should just hand her the nomination again.
I would think so. I've been wondering that myself.
By acclamation. Well, now, here's the two latest tidbits. The first one is a real doozy. People point appropriately to her single most important decision of the campaign, the only one that rested entirely on her shoulders, that of her running mate. And it's a pretty important choice if you think about it.
Absolutely.
This is a candidate choosing all by herself who could very well be the president of the United States, because if God forbid something happens, basically you're now putting someone in line, and all of that weight and all that responsibility is on your shoulders. And she chose Tim Walz,
which at the time spoke to her judgment, and I think I think we've seen.
And now she's revealing what kind of judgment she used to reach that choice. It is an open secret that she did not choose Josh Shapiro because he is Jewish, and that speaks volumes. Oh, I think Josh Shapiro would be great at this, but he's Jewish, so we can't do that. But now it gets even worse. Apparently, she really wanted her buddy Pete Buttigieg, but she says in the book that it would be ill-advised to choose Pete Buttigieg because she believed the American people were not ready for a gay man on the ticket with a black woman. Which, by the way, it's a triple bank shot here of bigotry and undermining the wisdom and the character of the American people. This is what she thinks of America. That it's like, well, Pete Buttigieg would be the best at the job, but America is just so full of bigots that I couldn't possibly do that.
Yeah, starting with her. Let me read the quote here. Buttigieg, quote, would have been an ideal partner if I were a straight white man. But we were already asking a lot of America to accept a woman, a black woman married to a Jewish man. Part of me wanted to say, screw it, let's just do it. But knowing what was at stake, it was too big of a risk. I mean, just the mentality that, it's okay for her to check a zillion boxes in the Democratic rubrics of, what's the best candidate? Can you get more and more further down the line of victimhood? But she does not want to make that same claim for her running mate. I think she was scared that he would have overshadowed her, because if you look at the scale now, black women are now topped by LGBTQ, particularly trans white men. So, I mean, we know that. I don't think Buttigieg is trans, but I'm just saying.
Yeah,
in that leftist scale of victimhood.
Right, and the ladder of box checking. I suppose that's true, but I just want everyone to read into what Kamala Harris is admitting about. First of all, her thoughts about us and her view of Americans, that we couldn't rise to that. She's more enlightened, but America's too bigoted. That's number one.
That's insulting,
number two,
by the way. Yeah.
No, it's completely. Also, number two, think this through for a minute. I can't pick Pete Buttigieg because he's a gay man, and America's not ready for that. So instead, I'll pick Tim Walz.
I'm not going to say anything on air that's going to get me in trouble, but I think we already
nothing needs to be said. I think it speaks for itself. But finally, and most importantly, this is a woman who wanted to be president of the United States. She wants to be a leader. She flirted with being governor of California. She still, we're told, wants to run for president in 2028. She wants to lead this nation, and she is openly admitting in her book that against her own better judgment, she decided that she was going to take what she considered the safer route. And again, this is in selecting the most critical component, someone who could be the president of the United States. Yes. And she said, I know that Pete Buttigieg is best for the job, but for political purposes, I'm not going to do what's best. I'm not going to do what's right. I'm not going to do what in my heart I know is appropriate. Mm-hmm. I'm going to set all that aside for craven, misguided political reasons and do this instead, which is the opposite of what you want in a leader. It's the opposite of political courage. Yes. And she's admitting it. She's excited to admit it to you.
I mean, it speaks to who she is. I don't think she was confident in herself. And your point is she wasn't confident in her own decision making to be able to say, you know what, this is the best person for the job. So now we have it doesn't take hindsight to know that that Josh Shapiro presents as would have been a much stronger running mate who, now you listen to him and you sit and think, wow, he is someone to watch because of how measured, how insightful, how strong a leader he is. But the Democrats aren't going based on what I think common sense would be in selecting a leader. They're going off of skin, gender, who you sleep with.
I'm not going to go overboard about how great he is, but he certainly would have been a better choice and better strategic choice than Tim Walz. By the way, what other beautiful thing about this is that it sort of undermines Pete Buttigieg's attempt to be president. Think about the 3D chess here, 4D chess. She still wants to run in the primary. Pete Buttigieg is going to be running in the primary. Oh, yeah. So she's planting the seed to primary voters in the Democratic Party that Pete Buttigieg can't win. So it's maniacal. Also, by the way, there's one other revelation. Apparently, minutes before Kamala went on the debate stage against Donald Trump, Biden called her while she was waiting backstage and started yelling at her and berating her because his brother told Joe that Kamala had been bad-mouthing him in private. And so think about that. Biden, right before Kamala goes on stage for the debate, Biden calls and starts screaming at her. And now that's in her head as she walks out the stage. I love every minute of this. There's not enough popcorn to pop. It's 5:53.